Hi, Sean. Thanks for joining us today. You've been with Scouting America for a few months now as our Executive Vice President of Membership Engagement. Maybe you could tell us what that means exactly when we say membership engagement. Tell us about your role and what you're doing.
Good. Aaron, great to be here with you. So my new position is focused primarily on a combination of things: growing our membership, retaining our membership, and then, as the title suggests, it's all about engaging. So engaging not only our members, but our volunteers and our professional staff. And I'm thrilled to be here. It's a spectacular challenge.
Yes. Well, we are certainly happy to have you here. It's been a few months since you've been here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your interactions. Scouting America is driven by volunteers. As you
Yes.
know, we have loyal volunteers, passionate volunteers across the country. What have your interactions with them been like?
I would say extraordinary. So I just came back about a month ago from my Wood Badge course in Philmont. Aaron, it was amazing. 52 volunteers with a volunteer team of leaders that put this program on. I didn't know quite what to expect because nobody would really tell me what Wood Badge was about. I heard things like foxes and owls and antelopes, and I thought, what am I getting myself into? Well, 6 days, 6:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. Amazing programming. And just being with other volunteers, Aaron, it gave me several things. One, an understanding of just how passionate our volunteers are. I would say that I increased the average age a little bit. These were folk that are new parents, young people. In my patrol, I had a 19-year-old woman who is an assistant scout master who just blew me away. It was quite remarkable. And so when you interact with volunteers at that level, I got a really good understanding of how much you can get out of being a volunteer, but also, how lucky we are to have them. I mean, genuinely lucky.
Absolutely, yes. We're in the National Council here in Irving, Texas, and interacting with volunteers, so inspirational, right?
Yes,
And you
yes.
reminds us all of why we do what we do. So
Yeah.
glad you got to do that. That's also, I know you'll be doing more of that going forward. Let's kind of break down a little bit membership engagement, kind of what that means for folks.
Yeah.
If I said membership health,
Yes.
healthy membership.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? What does that involve? What goes into that?
Yeah, so membership health is it's twofold as far as I see. One is making sure that when a new member, when a cub comes in, or there's a crossover, or individuals are participating in venturing or exploring or Sea Scouts, is that we have a highly professional, very well curated experience for those folk. The other is our council health. We have 235 councils across the United States. Some communities are small, some are larger. There's variability in the councils in terms of their capability, their capacity, the health of those councils. So one of our focuses in my department is understanding what each council needs, both from a support standpoint from the National Service Center, from a competence, from a training standpoint, collaborating with Scouting University, but it's really getting a grassroots field level understanding of what's needed and then pulling everything together so that they get what they need when they need it in a way that really excites and helps us, delight our customers at the end of the day and keep them for their lifetime, by the way.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to ask you about, Sean, is it's a different world nowadays than it was when you or I were scout age.
Yes.
We didn't have smartphones
No.
back then.
Right.
But today's youth do. Today's young
Yeah.
parents do. That 19-year-old you met probably had a smartphone, right? They
Right.
don't know any other world.
Right.
Talk about digital growth.
Yeah.
What does that look like to you? What's our philosophy on that?
Well, we know all of the modern parents, they get to know about scouting in all likelihood from social media. So us doing a better job of how we attract our new modern parents, how we describe the value of what we do in all our scouting programs, We've done an amazing job this fall campaign with initiatives on YouTube and Disney and Hulu, with our influencers, with our Eagle Scouts, with individuals that not only represent what we do, but with a tremendous degree of humility and truthfulness describe their experiences in scouting. So digital access, digital awareness is a pillar of what we need to not only be good at, but we need to constantly iterate on and create an environment where people can understand us, get to us, acknowledge us, and also for us to communicate in a sort of bi-directional fashion. And I think if we're not good at doing that, I think we're missing out on, a tremendous number of people that we could be reaching more effectively.
Scouting America, we are a youth serving organization. In my opinion,
Yes.
one of the best.
Yes.
Biased.
Yes.
There are other youth serving organizations out there. There are some faith-based organizations.
Yes.
I'm curious if you have any thoughts. Are there strategic partnerships out there for Scouting America to partner with other organizations?
Historically, we've had a lot of strategic partnerships, and so we're doubling down and refocusing. I've hired an extraordinary individual, Corylyn Bailey, who's joined us as the Youth Serving Partnership Director. Her responsibility is going to be making sure that we we continue to support our faith-based groups, our civic groups, but also looking at corporate sponsorships, which we've never really done before, and corporate partnerships. Our exploring and our venturing, I think, have a tremendous opportunity to give us access and our young adult members access to careers that they may not have considered. And so partnering with organizations that can help with us, companies that are looking to bring in interns or looking to showcase what they do. It may be the police force. It may be the military. It may be tech. It may be healthcare. And all of those we have great access points into, but we want to expand that. So Corylyn's role, collaborating with the other departments, is to put all of that in place, elevate it, explore it. And by the way, I operate out of a big tent philosophy. I think there are tremendous opportunities for us to partner with the other youth-serving organizations. Aaron, and in my research, we're probably one of the only youth-serving organizations in the world that still have God in our mission statement. And it's God with a capital G. So I wake up every morning, I come into my office, right opposite you is the scout of, on my honor, I will do my duty to God and my country. It's amazing, right? I mean, that's something we lead with. And now that I've been involved in the organization for a short period of time, I've spoken to faith leaders from almost every denomination. I was an assistant chaplain for a couple of days on my Wood Badge course, and we had the great privilege of putting on an interdenominational service out in the wilderness in New Mexico, and I'll cherish that for the rest of my life, because literally we picked 7 people from within 52 that represented all these different faith groups, and each of us took a portion. And it was miraculous in terms of the emotion, the feeling, the depth of understanding, and really I call it inclusion on steroids if you think about it. And that's what I love about this organization. I love about the mission. And I think it's unique. I think it's still unique for us. And I think the country needs us. And if you look at the 60 million scouts in the world needs us.
Yeah, I think the country absolutely needs us. I agree with you on that. Every community needs us. There have been historically and still are some communities that we struggle to serve.
Yes.
I wonder if you could address that in your philosophy on multicultural marketing, things like that.
Well, we have a massively growing population of multi-ethnic and multicultural groups now. The Hispanic population, for example, is growing, in leaps and bounds. We have an Indian American population, obviously, historically the African American population. All of these different ethnic groups and cultural groups have historically not been our core constituent group. And so, we're doing a much better job of that. We have translated all of our material now for this year into Spanish. We are looking at Mandarin now. We've got it developed now. We just have to print it. And we've hired a marketing multicultural director to really focus on building inroads, competence and capability into the multicultural sector. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see this crossover at some point where we become relevant to those population groups. Now, we have a lot of work to do there, because part of it is teaching our councils and preparing our volunteer leaders to serve those groups, understanding what the parents of those children expect, need, what their concerns are, what their desires are for their kids. So having Eduardo Casas on board is going to be tremendously valuable for us.
Great, great. It seems to me that we have an army of foot soldiers out there.
We do.
That maybe we can do a better job of engaging adults who were scouts as kids, our alumni, who had a positive experience in the program, love scouting, for whatever reason maybe aren't engaged right now. Your thoughts on them, and how do we activate them?
Yeah, so one of the pillars in my new department in membership engagement is alumni and NISA, our National Eagle Scout Association.
Right.
We think we have about 35 to 40 million living alumni in the movement. We've got about 1.8 million Eagle Scouts. We've got a very active association, and we graduate over 30,000 Eagles every year. So having a defined set of objectives, value propositions, delivery of product and service to that group, I think can elevate us. It does several things. One, it recognizes and values those individuals that have contributed their time, their treasure, their talent over a course of years. It recognizes, I think, and honors individuals many individuals that I've met over the last 4 months have spent decades giving of their time, not only in the movement, but for the movement. And so how do we recognize them? How do we provide them an opportunity to network with each other? If you recently graduated, as a scout, whether you were a life scout or whether you were in Cubs, but you're at university, maybe there's something that we can do that connects you. Maybe there's some work that we can do in the early part of your career and mid-career. And then when you're in your second act or your third act, how do we have a home for you? Whether it's contributing with your treasure, because at that point you may have some dollars that you'd like to distribute to a worthy cause. But how can we take advantage of your talent and your knowledge, know-how, and experience to further the goals of the movement? So that's the umbrella of alumni, and we're scratching the surface at what we can do. If you look at any of the top universities in the world or other youth-serving organizations that prize their alumni, we prize our alumni, but we have to activate our alumni, and that's what one of our roles is in my department.
That's great. That's great. Something else that you mentioned to me in the past, Sean, that I thought was really interesting that stuck out. I think maybe a lot of people don't think about it. We have a section of our organization, retailers,
Yes.
Scouting America Outfitters.
Yes.
Most people think of them as their scout shops in their local communities where you go buy stuff. Scoutshop.org. Everybody should go there.
Exactly. Please go to scoutshop.org.
Scoutshop.org for sure for all your scouting needs. But I wonder if you have any thoughts on a role that they could play in membership, strength, growth, engagement.
So that's the final pillar for me. The sixth pillar is outfitters. It's been a hidden resource in my view. It's an extraordinary team. We have over 400 people that support that operation. Think of it as a business within a business, Aaron. So it has 6,000 product SKUs, which it supplies our movement. Classically, things like uniforms and badges and camping equipment and, the Pine Derby car every year. So it does a lot of that. We've got an e-commerce and we've got a wholesale division where we supply the councils with licensed merchandise. But I want to think of outfitters, and we're starting to do that, and the team at Outfitters has embraced this. We're a conduit to a member experience. When a new Cub Scout joins the movement, they come into a scout shop with with their mom and dad.
Yeah.
I was, visiting a scout shop at Circle 10, one of our councils here in Dallas, on a Saturday morning, just, the beginning of the fall recruiting campaign. And there must have been 50 kids in that scout shop with mom, with dad, with brothers and sisters, with the dogs. I mean, it was crazy cool and good, and they were being fitted for their outfits, etc. But there was a high degree of interaction,
Right.
and there was a delight. And they had little tents set up, sort of emulating a camping environment. They had a section of the scout store where you could take your compass and you could do sort of a walk around using a sort of gamification of an experience to go and find things. And so we have 120 owned scout shops, and then we have another 300 that the scouts, that the councils do themselves. What I love about that is that's a place where on a regular basis we can activate as part of the member experience, as part of the parent experience, and leverage that on behalf of the movement and behalf of the councils. I think it's brilliant, and I'm looking forward to really doing something exciting with Outfitters. By the way, as well as making sure that you get the best possible gear at the most favorable prices, because ultimately as well, affordability is important for our members as well as our volunteers, and quality. We're a quality operation, we're a quality programming. We need to mirror that in everything we do.
It's ambitious, but I like it, Sean.
Thank you.
This has been a great discussion. Thanks so much for your time today, sir.
Thank you for having me, Aaron. It's been great.